This is the one you've all been waiting for. The one I've been waiting for. Old Carter in the house. Troy back with another review on the Pop 'em, Don't Watch 'em YouTube whiskey show. Hitter night tonight on the show. The Old Carter American Whiskey Batch 5 and 6. We're going to get into it. We're going to review it. We also got two of the bourbons. You got to excuse me a little bit. Allergies got me, but the palate, the nose, it's all there. So we got two of the bourbons. We're going to do a separate episode for the bourbons while we do an episode for the American whiskeys. Special shout out. Man, had a lot of help on these. My boy, Joe at Riverbend, got to go check his store out. He's doing great things. Riverbend Market over on Highway 22, Madisonville, Louisiana. Guys, he's trying to get you a selection, top of the line stuff. The shelf stuff, great prices. Can't beat them. Also, my boy Paul helped me out. My boy Craig. Great help on getting these bottles. But tonight, American Whiskey Batch 5 and Batch 6. Cannot wait to get into it. See if you made the right decision. It dropped in Louisiana. Uncorked NOLA did an amazing job with the distribution of these bottles. I thought for sure it was going to be impossible to get. They did a great job with the distribution. Can't say enough about Uncorked NOLA and how they did this drop. As far as the rest of the country goes, I don't know when you guys are going to see it, but here we are. We're going to help you out in case you only can pick out one. Here in the Louisiana Bourbon Collective, I'm one of the original Old Carter lovers. I had tons of guys DMing, calling me, saying, hey, I can only pick one. Which one can I pick? So now you're going to get that opportunity to see which one is the one to pick if you only get one. Hopefully you can buy them all. If not, we'll get down to it to see which one is the best. So as you can see, we have Rise. I popped this the other night. Which one is it? It's over here. This is a special bottle here. This is a single barrel Kentucky whiskey, 12 years old. So as you all know, you know the story. Mark and Sherry Carter, they do all the blends. Incredible blending talent. Imagine them going through a rick house. They're picking barrels for their blends. And they come across a barrel and they're like, this is so good, we're bottling the barrel. You can have all the allocation, all the big dust collectors y'all like to collect. When you get something like that, that's special. Special. Popped it the other night. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to get in. This is just, it's going to be hard for me to, that's going to be a special occasion bottle. Pappy, they can have that. This is what I'll pull out for special occasions right here. So, quick overview of Old Carter. I gave a little overview of my Batch 4 American Whiskey video. As you all know, 40 plus bourbons, the 2020 Blind Flight Challenge Batch 4 American Whiskey Old Carter was my whiskey of the year. Blind all the way through. One whiskey of the year. Could 5 or 6 be this year's winner? We'll see. But Mark and Sherry Carter, once again, as you know, most of you do, if you don't, they started out with Dixon Dedman over at Kentucky Owl. Those early batches, you all know, those batches were serious. They were helping blend and pick those batches. A bigger company came in, bought them out. So Mr. Mark and Miss Sherry said, we're going to do our own thing. We've done it with wine. They have 100-point Cabernet wines. I'm a big wine guy. Trying to get my hands on a bottle of that wine. Cannot wait to try one of those cabs. But they said we're going to do our own thing. And here they are. Miss Sherry's blending ability, it can't be matched. It's unbelievable what they're doing. Picking these barrels and blending them. I can't say enough. And here we are, the big 2021 release. There were 2 American whiskeys, 4 bourbons. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So we're going to start with American Whiskey Batch 5. This one was aged 13 years. This is bottle 1653 of 2429. 134.9 proof on batch 5. Now, a lot of guys always ask me, why is it called a whiskey? Why it's not called a bourbon? The reason why is Mr. Mark explained it perfect. They age these in used barrels. And what it does is, at 139, it doesn't drink like 139. It's very smooth, very decadent, very sweet. And that's because the used barrels, you're only pulling that sweetness through. You're not pulling those spicy barrel tannins, you know, that are a little bit harsh on the whiskey. So these things, even though they're 13 years, the American whiskey, and they're at 139 proof, they drink dangerously smooth. So let's get into it. Batch 5 American whiskey. Let's see if it can meet up to the expectations batch 4 put on the line. So right off on the nose, it's like a candy shop. Oh man. Werther's caramel chocolate, not chocolate, those Werther's caramel pieces. Man, I cannot remember the name of this little candy, but it's coming to me now as I'm smelling it. It was in a little wrapper. You would pull it open, and it was caramel and had a white vanilla frosting in the middle of it. Oh man, those things were amazing. That's exactly what it smells like. You almost get like a vanilla yellow cake with that vanilla frosting on it. So sweet. Miss Sherry Carter, Mr. Mark Carter, cheers from Troy at Pop 'em Don't Watch 'em and the Louisiana Bourbon Collective. Glad you guys are in Louisiana now. Welcome to the state. Cheers. It's so good you don't even want to swallow. So, it covers every part of the mouth. The cheeks, the gums, the tongue, the palate, everything. Everything with this vanilla frosting, caramel sweetness, and then a spice, a cinnamon spice. It's almost like, I don't know if you had like a cinnamon spice cake with the vanilla frosting, and you took a burnt caramel and you put it on the top. Oh, man. I'm speechless. I mean, that is unbelievable, the flavors they're pulling out of this. Let's get one more sip of the batch 5. Oh, man. As it's sitting in the glass, I'll let these sit probably for about 10 minutes before we film. Batch 5 starting to pull out a little bit of citrus, just a tad bit. So it's almost turning into like a orange and cream soda, like a sherbet. But man, yeah, that cake, that vanilla yellow cake and that caramel. Man, that's dangerous. That's so dangerous to drink that smooth at 139 proof. Wow. Wow. Now this flavor profile, very close to batch 4. I know batch 4 in the back of my mind. I can smell. You can give me 20 glasses. I'll pick batch 4 out. This is very close. Very, very close to batch 4. So, batch 6. Specs on this, 13 years. This one's 134.6. So I think it's a little 5 temps a little. Let's see. This one's 134.9. This one's 134.6. So it's not that big of a difference. Batch 6, 13-year American whiskey. And like I said, it's not called bourbon because they finish them. They're aged in already used barrels. They might have a little light whiskey on there. We don't have a confirmation of that. I haven't heard a confirmation of that. The mash bills aren't released. But that is why it is an American whiskey and not a bourbon. So, batch 6. I do notice just a tad bit, batch 6 is a little darker. Just a hint, a little shade darker than batch 5. Gotta take a second after that one. My God. I'm going to tell you what this smells like. You're in college, had a fun night, it's 2 in the morning, you're at Waffle House. You order that waffle with the chocolate chips in it, and they put that warm, hot syrup on there, and they melt it. It all melts together. They put the butter on there. That's what this smells like. Oh, I mean, pure waffle pancake syrup, butter. It's like when butter mixes with the syrup. That little bit of hint of chocolate on the back end, and that vanilla frosting is still coming through in this one. Not as butterscotch as this one. Big difference. There is a big difference here. Whew, man. Can't wait to get into this one. Cheers. Palate's the same. A lot less spice than this one. Batch 5, back of the palate, came in with the spice hard. This has a little tingle to it. Not like batch 5. Batch 5 was spicier. This is pure syrup, little bit of chocolate on it, pancakes, butter. Unbelievable. That is, I mean, it's special. That's the only word you can use when it comes to a whiskey like this, and you get to experience something like this. I preach this to the guys and girls all the time. It should be about the experience. Mark and Sherry Carter want you to open these. They want you to enjoy what they put sweat, love, tears into making these whiskeys. Open them. Enjoy them. They don't want you to let them sit on a shelf. And that's where this show comes from. Pop them, don't watch them. And when you get something like this, it takes your breath away. It's so special compared to anything you've ever had. The big hitters that come out in the fall. This is a notch above that. This is what the craze should be about. Unbelievable. Now, getting down to it. Like I said, a lot of guys, I only can get one. Which one should I get? That's tough, guys. Tough. Bar none, for me, batch 6, that's the one. Batch 6 is the one. Now, I have not popped the bourbons yet, because I like to get into them a little bit before I film. That's going to be a separate episode for the 2 bourbons, that batch 9 and batch 10. But far as these come, if you like spice, batch 5. If you like that pure sweetness, batch 6. But overall, I love them all. I'm not a spicy, sweet guy. If it's good, it's good. If you put a gun on my head and say, I got to pick one, it's batch 6. Batch 6 is darker. This one's a little brighter, more spice, like I said. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. If somebody offers you one and it's that you can't pick the batch, it doesn't matter. Buy it. It is incredible what these whiskeys are and what's in the bottle. Guys, that's the American Whiskey Review. Like I said, bourbon batch 9 and 10. I'm going to get into those tomorrow. Hopefully get that video out towards the end of the week on the bourbons. Man, Old Carter. There's nothing left to say. Follow me on Instagram. A lot going on the Instagram. That's at pop'em_watch'em_. I'm sorry. Pop'em_don't_watch'em. Yeah, 139 is getting to me. Follow along on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, guys. The views are through the roof. Got to get those subscribers up. What else can I say? If you have an Old Carter, if it's a rye, bourbon, American whiskey, or a single barrel, pop 'em. Don't watch 'em.